Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning back in.
So today we are doing a wrap-up on our Tasmania trip. We've been here for 5.5 weeks. Today is unfortunately our last day. We're going back to the mainland tomorrow to carry on our trip. So we'll break down this video into 5 categories. The first one being the wild camping, the second one being the 4 drive tracks, the third one being the hiking, the fourth one being the budget and fuel, and the fifth one, the facilities and roads.
So we're giving each category 5 points, and obviously 5 total categories, which will be out of a total of 25 points. Bear in mind, this is completely subjective. We're very biased, and just this is our trip. This is the only trip we've done so far. We've been here just over 5 weeks. I'm sure if we came back at another time of year or when it was more busy, we may have a completely different view. So please bear that in mind, and let's crack into it. Our first category today is wild camping. So that is what we kind of pride ourselves on. We look on HEMA Maps, our GPS system, or Google Satellite. We try and find out of the way areas with beautiful scenery where we can camp on our own. We try and stay away from the caravan parks, the set-up campsites, or the screaming kids, the parties. We make sure we're doing no trace camping, so we don't harm any wildlife, any of the scenery, any of the terrain. So some of our spots look like this.
For the wild camping category, we give it a 5 out of 5. We found that finding wild camping spot in Tasmania was actually really easy. There's so many like little roads, no-through roads, where you can actually find like beautiful campsite at the end of. We found that there was a little bit less no camping sign everywhere, which gives you the opportunity of like camping in like more beautiful places.
Yeah, I agree.
Even closer to like very popular attractions. So we've been able to find like close to like Cradle Mountain or like the Free Capes, like very easily some wild camping. So that's been a great bonus for us here.
Yeah, so we've mainly got New South Wales to compare to because that's where we've lived the longest in Australia. For obvious reasons, there's millions of fire trails in New South Wales. Now they're usually always locked, obviously, so it's a lot harder for us to find unused trails or rarely used trails that we can find like sort of a campsite at the end of, and we've found Tasmania has been much more accommodating for that.
The second category is the 4 drive tracks. So we did 4 tracks in Tassie. Here they are.
We have found the 4 driving in Tasmania to be absolutely phenomenal, did not disappoint. I've grown up seeing a lot of these tracks on telly, the famous ones, so it was really cool to be able to tackle a few of them. We did Bridport to Bellingham along the sand dunes, we did Climby's track, we did Sandy Cape, and we did the Mount McCall track, all of which were really awesome and in completely different terrain. Now, we rate the 4 driving experience here in Tassie a 5 out of 5. We have found it really cool that Tasmania Parks actually manage the tracks, give out heaps of information on it, let you know what it's like, whether it's difficult, whether it's been really wet and it's going to be really sloppy, and that's been really, really good to see. We think it has been managed much, much better than New South Wales manages them, and we've felt more welcome. And it's really cool to see that they've set aside dunes, all kinds of mountain tracks, forest, beach, lakes, set aside just for recreational driving. And it's really good to see here that everyone that comes to Tasmania to do these tracks are looking after them. We didn't see a ton of trash like we have in other states. It's really good to see it's completely respected. Our third category in the wrap up is hiking. We did some phenomenal hikes. Here's a few of them here.
We rated a 5 out of 5 again. All the hiking in Tassie was incredible, from like mountain views like in Cradle to amazing beach views in One Glass Bay on top of Mount Amos, or otherwise like more foresty vibes in South Cape Bay track where we reached the southernmost tip of Australia. We loved it. There are some great initiatives that have been done by parks, such as the 60 Great Short Walks. So just like a little booklet, or you can find information online, and it just gives you information about the best walk in Tassie. So we find this is a great way to find easily the walks around you. We would love to come back to Tassie to do some more hiking, especially for multi-day hikes. We haven't had the chance to do any because of our like tight itinerary, but yeah, there are some really well managed, like obviously the famous overland track. But there's like Frenchman's Cap, there's so many of them, so we'll definitely be keen to come back.
Our fourth category is budget and fuel. We've scored this a 4 out of 5. Firstly, been really impressed that the fuel costs, no matter how remote we've been in Tasmania, has stayed relatively the same. I noticed in the outback the prices will go up almost double. That didn't seem to happen at all anywhere in Tasmania that we went, and we've traveled pretty extensively around here. So we found that a massive pro. And then we also haven't spent any money on accommodation because the wild camping's been super easy. So our budget has remained pretty good because of that.
On the con side, we found obviously being an island, there's less larger chains. So like especially for groceries, we usually go to Coles or Woolworths, which are not as present in Tasmania. So we had to do a lot of like shopping in IGA, which is like almost double the price. So it definitely increased our grocery bill. So that's why we give it like a little bit like less great score on this one.
Yeah, I could imagine if you needed like car parts or any kind of specialist equipment. I was pretty keen to get a camera gimbal at one point and stuff. There's not these large stores that you'll find in the other cities on the mainland. So obviously that's a little bit of a con. There's not too many built up cities here, so that affects.
And for the last category, the facilities and roads, we give it a 3 out of 5. So in terms of facilities, we found they were great. It was really easy to find laundromat, car wash, showers, even water in Tasmania. One of the reasons behind it, as we think, is we have to pay for a national park pass. We chose the 2-month option, which is $60. We're not used to pay for National Park Pass, but $60 for 2 months, it's quite affordable.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Yes. And thanks to that, you can find like free showers, like for example in Lake Sinclair, so it's a really gesture that we appreciate. Otherwise, in terms of like parking, usually it was free and easy to find, so we're not really used to that, especially in Sydney where it's really overpriced. So yeah, overall facilities were great in Tassie.
And then finally, just talking about the roads a little bit. Now that's another matter. The roads, in my opinion, I've done most of the driving here, has been shocking. So if it's not huge amounts of roadworks where we've had to stop for sometimes 10-15 minutes at a time at like a little signal, it'll be terribly surface roads to the point where we've received now a bunch of chips in the windscreen from other vehicles driving past. We've noticed the local drivers have been shocking. If they're not driving on the wrong side of the road or in the middle of the road, they're driving way too fast. I've noticed there's been a massive lack of signage going around corners. It'll just generally be 100k an hour, and then you'll suddenly come to a corner that you should be hitting at about 40-45k an hour, and it will come out of nowhere, and it's a real surprise in comparison to how good the roads are, for instance, in New South Wales or New Zealand. Yeah, there's been a huge amount of dirt roads going through the centre of the island, where you would imagine it would be a paved road. Not a huge deal, but it does massively slow the time down. Yeah, overall just the roads have been an interesting one. So if you come over here and drive, please be careful. Don't feel like you've got to drive 100k an hour, because it does not match the condition of the road. But then you get some really cool roads like this one here in Jacob's Ladder. We have absolutely loved Tasmania. We're super sad to leave. We have found the people incredibly friendly here. They'll come up to our campsite in the middle of nowhere and say g'day. They'll offer us advice, where to find wildlife, to look out for the sun because it's strong here. To me, it feels like its own little country in between Australia and New Zealand. It's just been phenomenal. So as soon as you can, get over here, guys.
Yeah, no, definitely, we loved it here. Like, we found as well like wildlife. We saw so many different animals, from like wombats, possum, crows, platypus, pademelon. Yeah,
heaps of stuff. Even last night on the road for the first time, I saw a sugar glider crossing the road, which is like a flying squirrel. So I've always wanted to see one of those. Pretty neat.
This is amazing. So overall, the score in Tassie is 22 out of 25, which is really high. So it's gotta be hard to beat it in the mainland, but we're really keen to continue our journey and explore the States and see what Australia has to offer.
Get over to Tassie, guys.
Yeah, so if you like this video, please let us know in a comment. Don't hesitate to check out our vlogs as well, as we have like more detailed information about the different areas of Tassie, and we'll see you on the mainland.
Yeah, if you like our stuff, guys, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and click the bell if you want to be notified of our videos. We'll see you next time.